날 눈치챘던 순간 떠날만 했어 나 찾아내야 했어 All day all night 사막과 바다들이 건너.
So let's start with the second part now. We, who were outlaws not so long ago, have today been given the rare privilege to be host to the nations of the world on our own soil. We thank all of our distinguished international guests for having come to take possession with the people of our country of what is, after all, a common victory for justice, for peace, for human dignity. In this paragraph, Nelson Mandela thanked all the distinguished dignitaries who came from all around the world to be a part of this historic moment. So, it is a rare privilege for them because they were regarded as outlaws and now they are a free nation. Outlaws means illegal people or criminals. Here, the South Africans were regarded as outlaws because they were not given any rights. Moreover, the other nations severed or broken ties or any diplomatic relations with South Africa. So they were not part of the world nation. We have at last achieved a political emancipation. Emancipation means freedom from restriction. Now, the South African people were restricted from many things. They were not leading a life of a normal citizen in their own soil. So, Nelson Mandela pledged that he would free the people from this ugly bondage of poverty, deprivation, suffering, or gender discrimination or any other discrimination. Never, never, and never again shall it be that this beautiful land will again experience the oppression of one by another. So, South Africa would never face any kind of oppression or domination by anybody on anyone. And her sun shall never set on so glorious a human achievement. He believed that the sun of this glorious human achievement will never set but continue to shine forever and ever. Let freedom reign. God bless Africa. Now here you can see below a few question and answers regarding whatever we did in this paragraph and the previous paragraph. So you can write the answers to these questions and try to write it in your own words as far as possible. A few moments later, we all lifted our eyes in awe as a spectacular array of South African jets, helicopters, and troop carriers roared in perfect formation over the Union buildings. It was not only a display of pinpoint precision and military force, but a demonstration of the military's loyalty to democracy, to a new government that had been freely and fairly elected. So everyone looked up in awe. Awe means surprise at the beautiful or spectacular array of South African jets and helicopters. Spectacular array means an impressive display. Only moments before, the highest generals of the South African Defence Force and Police, their chests bedecked with ribbons and medals from days gone by, saluted me and pledged their loyalty. I was not unmindful of the fact that not so many years before that they would not have saluted but arrested me. This part talks about the irony of the situation here. The government has changed, but the military is the same. The highest generals, whose chests were decorated with medals awarded by the previous government, that is the government of the whites, now had to pay their obligations to the new government. They bowed before Nelson Mandela, whom they would have arrested some years ago. This was the irony, And even Nelson Mandela was not unmindful. He too realized the situation and found it rather intriguing. Finally, a chevron of Impala jets left a smoke trail of the black, red, green, blue, and gold of the new South African flag. Chevron means a pattern, a V shape of a pattern, and Impala means a special kind of jets. The day was symbolized for me by the playing of two national anthems and the vision of white singing Kosi Sikele, I Africa, and a black singing Die Stem, the old anthem of the Republic. Although neither group knew the lyrics of the anthem they once despised, they would soon know the words by heart. It was indeed a most appealing and emotional moment, an unforgettable and beautiful occasion to see both the groups joining in and singing one another's anthem, though in the beginning they used to despise. On that day of the inauguration, I was overwhelmed with a sense of history. Now, this line reveals that South African President Nelson Mandela was very emotional at that moment, and he was trying to remember how South Africa has come a long way from the oppressive rule. In the first decade of the 20th century means 1900 to 1910, and decade means span of 10 years. A few years after the bitter Anglo-Boer War means the war between the English and the Africans, and before my own birth, the white-skinned peoples of South Africa patched up their differences and erected a system of racial domination against the dark-skinned peoples of their own land. After the war, the English erected a system which is regarded as the harshest and most severe of the system the human society had ever known. Now, in the last decade of the 20th century and my own 8th decade as a man, the last decade of the 20th century means 1990 to 2000. So it's 1994 that South Africans got their freedom. And the 8th decade as a man means when Nelson Mandela turned 80 years. That system had been overturned forever and replaced by one that recognized the rights and freedoms of all peoples, regardless of the color of their skin. No South Africans can ever forget the trauma of that system, and it is a time to rejoice when this evil system was replaced by one that recognized and valued the rights of the people despite the differences of their color of the skin. That day had come about through the unimaginable sacrifices of thousands of my people whose suffering and courage can never be counted or repaid. I felt that day, as I have on so many other days, that I was simply the sum of all those African patriots who had gone before me. Now here Nelson Mandela recalls and contemplates and really feels for those patriots who had sacrificed their lives fighting for apartheid. He was simply representing them now, and trying to, give back what they had done so many years ago. That long and noble line ended and now began again with me. I was pained that I was not able to thank them and that they were not able to see what their sacrifices had wrought. Here we can clearly see how emotional Nelson Mandela was at that time. He was feeling sorry for all the patriots who were not able to witness the fruits of their hard work and sacrifice. We again see that Nelson Mandela was a humble and a very good person. He was not proud and he did not take the credit to himself. In fact, he gave the entire credit to the patriots or the hard work of the people who had been fighting the apartheid system in the past. The policy of apartheid created a deep and lasting wound in my country and my people. All of us will spend many years, if not generations, recovering from that profound hurt. Already in the first video, I had mentioned about this, and I also have talked about the great heroes and mentioned their names like Bram Fishers, the Robert Sobukwe's, and the other extraordinary men. So this is the image where all the men are depicted. You can just go through and know their names. Such extraordinary courage, wisdom and generosity that their like may never be known again. Perhaps it requires such depths of oppression to create such heights of character. Now this line is talking about the unique quality that a person or persons can have. People who fought in the past were patriots with such unique qualities. Such unique people are born out of the oppression or through some very harsh or difficult situation. And Nelson Mandela believed that such a unique group can never be created again or never evolved again. Group were like diamonds that evolved from the extreme trauma that they had undergone in the oppressive rule. My country is rich in the minerals and gems that lie beneath its soil, but I have always known that its greatest wealth is its people, finer and truer than the purest diamonds. So we can clearly see here that Nelson Mandela compares this entire group to pure diamonds, fine diamonds, true and real diamonds. They cannot be compared to any of the minerals and gems that are present in the soil of South Africa. So these are the richest and the most rarest of the gems and diamonds. So one cannot ignore them, and there was extreme love and respect for them from Nelson Mandela. So we stop here for today and we'll continue the rest in the next class. Thank you.